response.
Welcome to this panel of Dragon Ball Z.
We are
Colleen Clinkenbeard
and
Eric Vale. Is us.
So yeah, I was only in Dragon Ball Z Kai, so I apologize for not being Stephanie and Dolly. Not too much, but a little bit. And I played Gohan and Android 18 and Baby Trunks and Princess Snake at times.
And I play Future Trunks and the tournament announcer. So, for those of you who play the video games, I'm the one who tells you when you lose. What the hell?
They're having a dance or something.
It's an anime next door.
They're just loudly.
Like a soundtrack for
So, how many people do you think are in there?
Like 5, 6, 2.
Should
One.
They should come in here and just turn that off.
Perhaps you'll
Questions? We'll answer them.
Yeah, we're here to answer your questions.
perhaps you'll need the microphone after all.
What's your favorite part about playing Gohan in Dragon Ball Z Kai? Favorite moment.
Favorite moment? Oh, my favorite moment. That's different. The moment when his testicles dropped and I could do a lower voice. That moment, like when he comes out of the training and suddenly he has a lower voice, it was like, oh, thank God I can stop sounding like a whiny little bitch boy. That was my favorite moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody can stop listening to Daddy!
Thank God.
¿Qué más?
Z.
Nothing?
Really.
Peace out, you guys!
All you people showed up to sit in here and go.
Well, then we'll just be up here playing cards.
I got Angry Birds right here.
I'll videotape you the entire time.
I have Yahtzee.
I have one question. Can I get your autograph later? That was it. I didn't make it.
Absolutely. Question and answer.
I have a question. When you're doing the animation, are you all together when you're doing the voices, or do you do them separately?
Good question.
Very good question. We do them separately.
So they don't get to have fun.
In original animation, usually they record together because they're going to be animating to the voices. We do them separately because the timing has to be so precise because we have mouth movements to match up. And it's much easier to get one person to match it perfectly than it is to get 5 people to match it perfectly at the same time.
Yeah. So, a lot of us don't actually get to spend time with one another until, say, we go to a convention.
Hi, I'm Colleen. That's nice to meet you.
Colleen, hi, nice to meet you. Colleen. I'm Eric. Eric?
Eric?
Sure.
Eric.
That's my name. I think. So, anybody else? Are y'all all trying to get in here? Let me do something. Mug you? Hug you? No. Mug you? Yeah. Everybody come grab a chair.
Who wants to be in the front row? Just grab these.
And here's what's happening. These good chairs? These are good chairs, and you're creating a new front row.
Sweeter. Congratulations for being late.
I'll go to the side row. Side row, front row, whatever. But grab chairs.
Oh, done. So yeah.
Sorry, y'all.
And if the people that are now in the second row just want to be in the front row,
Y'all.
come up and sit on the
I
ground
think
in
I'm
front
good.
of them.
There you go, chairs.
Or, you know, you can sit over here.
Okay, so.
Welcome to the panel.
Hi, good to see you guys. Okay.
As your punishment, every one of you must ask a question. Your name is
Philip.
Casper.
Castor?
Casper.
Casper.
Oh my god.
Hey, it was one over. I meant your name was Casper. Sorry.
Do y'all have a favorite moment like working on Dragon Ball Z? Or like
Favorite
something that you
moment?
did? It doesn't have to pertain to Dragon Ball Z, but like, is there something that memorable for y'all, like working on the show?
Yeah, every time the check clears. Pretty sweet.
Well, you're not done with this question.
Casper?
Slow
Gotta
down there,
answer
Casper.
That's Casper.
Your new name is Philip Casper.
Philip Casper, or Crabtree Evelyn.
Philip Casper, Crabtree, and Evelyn. All right, so
Most memorable moment. You know what? Honestly, on the show, my most memorable moment was getting cast because I kind of missed the whole DBZ craze. When I came into Funimation, DBZ was on its way to being done, and so when it came back around and I found out that I got to be a lead character in the show, it was like, yay! I didn't miss it after all. So I was very excited. I was super stoked.
I would have to say the same thing. Well, Casper, calm down. So I would say the same thing for me. When I got cast on the show, I really was like, yeah, I get to work.
That's what we do.
Yeah, so I was really excited because getting cast as Trunks was my first regular acting job. It was the first job where I was going to be going in and working with some longevity, and that was a really proud moment for me.
As actors, when you find out that you are actually going to get paid for acting, it's like, really? Really? You're going to pay me for this thing that I would have probably done for free? That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then, years later, it's like, oh, you're not going to pay me? I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. Truth.
That's why I don't do theater anymore. Well, we have to answer Casper's question because he's insistent that
Yeah.
that be the next one. You have two.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to ask one question, and then another question later.
I like it.
I'll start with you for one. How did it feel to be to do the voice acting for the longest episode of?
So ask the second question.
Oh, could you recite some of the lines that you were playing?
There you go. And then you work on the first question.
And I'll freeze at the time. That was both of you. Just go on YouTube. Like,
I don't want.
You go.
Father! No!
I will be you.
You don't understand how powerful my pants really are. I mean the androids.
I remember when I was doing it was the one time I got to do Kid Goku in the movie that just happened fairly recently, and somebody comes and steals the Dragon Ball from their house, from the drawer, and takes it and leaves a coin as like a snarky little payment, and then Kid Goku and his Bulma maybe race after him in the little spacecraft. Am I right so far? Yes. And as he's pulling up right beside him, Bulma's really mad about the Dragon Ball being stolen, and Kid Goku says, "You forgot your coin!" And that made me happy. I like to do that.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's good, man.
There's somebody else.
Well, hold, just.
There's a new person
I was
here.
just saying, I have a question about somebody else.
This is disorganized.
All right, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna look. Okay. Turn it off.
I'm a voice actor. I work with microphones every day. Here's what we're gonna do. Everyone who has a question, raise your hand. Everyone who has a question on their mind in the whole room, raise your hand. Does everyone have a question? All of you? Okay, great. All the hands are raised? All of the hands are raised? Okay, great. Here's what we're gonna do. We will pick one person, and then all the hands go down. We will answer that question. When that question is finished being answered, the rest of the hands go back up. We will pick another person. We should have all learned this in like first grade. All right, so here we go.
Who has a question?
Who has a question? Colleen. Choose somebody.
I thought I was going to ask a question. That would have been funny. Yes.
How does it feel having to yell for 27 episodes straight?
How does it feel having to yell for 27 episodes straight? Not excellent. My throat sometimes feels like hamburger meat, and my voice is about an octave lower than it used to be.
Bad.
We could blame age, but instead we'll blame Funimation.
You know, it's not bad. You get used to it, and you develop ways to work around it.
Yeah.
So I'm not so worried about it anymore. Besides, after all these years and dropping my voice slightly lower, I have a different voice, and so I can book roles that I wouldn't be able to book 10 years ago.
Totally true. Commercial work is much better now.
Commercial work,
So
baby.
like it would have been better if it drops lower to do an older.
Yeah, to do older roles, yeah. And commercial work and smoother, lower roles are easier. I can't do little girls anymore.
Yeah. More serious, dramatic type stuff, you know. Yeah. Okay.
Who has a question?
Hands up. Yes.
Was it awkward for you making all those like power up noises, like the grunts and like the not necessarily like the yelling?
Are you
Or
indicating that
like-
it sounds like constipation?
Like those constipation sounds in DBZ, like when you get hit or like powering up.
No, dude, I was a vegetarian for 18 years, so.
I'm very
No.
familiar with those
No,
sounds.
I was super familiar with those sounds. Not a problem.
Not necessarily like familiar, but like was it awkward, like being in the booth and having like somebody watching
No, you
and,
just
like,
do it.
No, look, this is one of the catchphrases of being an actor is you're in the business of making being uncomfortable. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable all the time. Thank you.
If you think about how you're looking when you're doing it, then you are obviously in the wrong business.
Right. Like, do you think it's the most comfortable thing in the world to sit right here in front of all you people, all of you staring at us?
Probably.
No, it is not the most comfortable thing.
You
in
would
the
be
world.
wrong.
But you get comfortable being uncomfortable. You know, at some point, you just roll with the punches.
Yeah. I've voiced a woman who's having sex while flying through the air and being eaten at the same time. Yeah, variation title. If anybody can name it, I'll give you 10 extra points.
Was that last night?
Nope.
All right.
I don't know.
Somebody just said it. Who said it? Yeah.
Cash those in at the counter for an eraser. All right, next question. I saw that hand go up first.
Was there ever a scene that you got emotional? Or you yelled?
Got emotional?
Sorry, my question.
She's over.
I'm so sorry. No, I had one glass of wine. And
But did
that
you
is-
ever get emotional?
Yeah. I mean, you get into the moment. I've cried because I'm, in the moment. But I'm not the type of person really to take it
Like
home.
first time that Gohan's father dies and his arm is messed up.
It's really hard, to be completely honest, it's really hard to get emotionally invested when you're putting on a boy voice. When I'm doing a voice that is so counter to everything that I am, there's obviously going to be a disconnect. It's just a character voice. So it's far easier to connect emotionally to something that I'm doing that is more, that is closer to me, is closer to my voice. But regardless, I'm not the type of person who gets out of the booth and is like, I didn't even do it.
Yeah.
I leave it in the booth.
It had to be a surprise.
Yeah, things happen.
Did you ever cry?
No.
I
Look, my job is to put my emotions into that singular moment so that you cry. That's my job. And if you cry, then I did my job, right? But it's very, very difficult. These are acting skills that you develop over time. You have to be able to switch it on and off pretty quickly in many different situations, the voice booth being one of them.
Yeah.
You know, because you're recording most of the time just one line. You know, so I've got to record that one line and then turn it off and then listen to the direction to go back and get the line again and then be ready to go right back into that emotional moment again immediately because we're on a time crunch. We've got so many hours to get this thing done, so my job is to facilitate that in those hours allotted.
And if any voice actor ever tells you anything differently, they're probably lying, so that you will like them better.
That's true.
I prefer honesty.
I've directed all of them.
Yeah.
None of them leave the booth crying.
They're liars. Okay, questions?
I saw that one go up first. But do you remember your
Do
question?
you remember? Yeah.
Worded after.
No, yeah, you remember.
No, you don't. You don't know it.
Yeah, I just remembered something by and
So it's gone now.
yeah, it's gone.
All right.
So I'm
Good
gonna
interlude. That was fun. All right.
One that many others require, like, can you do the whole question and answering with the voices, the different of the characters that you interact with?
No. Are you serious? No.
Are you gonna pay me my hourly rate?
No.
Yes.
But I was gonna ask, well, how can you, I guess describe, how you got started in the industry?
It's just not going to work.
We tried.
We
We were talking
tried. We
about
were
it.
discussing it. It's just not going to work. So we're not laughing. We're not laughing at
Oh
you.
no, sorry.
No,
Separate
that's fine.
conversation.
Two
Yeah.
conversations happening.
Yeah.
But yes, we'll answer that question.
Okay.
Colleen.
My best friend was Laura Bailey, and we were in a play together. We got to be friends. She worked at Funimation as Kid Trunks. She brought me up there to try to get me an audition secretly, but ostensibly she just brought me up there to watch her record. I watched her record Dragon Ball GT with with Chris Bevins. And Chris asked if I wanted to get in the booth and do a little bit part for him, and I got in the booth, and it was a scream, and I screamed, and that scream got me the audition for Rachel in Case Closed, and the audition for Rachel in Case Closed got me the part of Eclair in Kitty Grade, and that was my first big role.
A single screen?
I can do that fast.
You said was your best friend.
We're still very close. She lives in LA. I don't see her all the time. Monica Rial. I mean, if we're numbering them.
My wife is my best friend.
Did you just get me in trouble with Patrick if you watched
Yeah, sure enough. So, so what I was laughing about, what we were laughing about, is that I posted up a video on YouTube a couple weeks ago, and the title of it is How to Get into Voice Acting and How I Got into Voice Acting. Because I'm sick of answering the question. Because I've been answering it for 13 years, and not from you.
Yeah.
Just to be very, very clear, not from you guys, but from people who I do interviews for. Because you guys pay good money to come here, and you deserve an honest answer. but in particular from people who I do interviews for who should do their research. And the first question out of the gate for somebody shouldn't be, so how did you get into voice acting? Because, you know, they should do their research and they should know. So I put a video out that I could refer to, and then I thought, hey, I'm never going to have to answer that question again. And sure enough, I still have to answer the question.
So I guess just what's the name of the video?
Oh, just go to my YouTube channel and you can watch the video anyway. It's just it's just
You
Eric
didn't do
Vale.
anything wrong asking that question.
No, that's basically what
No, I'm
the
trying
question.
to pull off like a dick. I'm just trying to be funny. And I'm failing. But I'm going to answer the question anyway. So I started off.
I like you. Eric doesn't.
I'm a failure as a person, is what Colleen is saying.
Just sad as tragic.
I'm leaving. Hey, we're not done yet. We are not done yet. That's it. You're all on my list. You're all in timeout. No, I'm kidding. So I started. You're not all in time. Whoa, timeout's a big deal here, isn't it? People, half the people just went. Like they're all sitting in timeout.
We're gonna go online later and be like, Eric is going over me. They wouldn't answer our questions. They wouldn't do things with their voices. They put us in timeout.
Some of them aren't. Some of them are in corners. Okay. So, well, I was acting professionally, and that means delivering pizzas. And I had a friend of mine who came into the pizza joint and gave me a phone number and said, call this guy for an audition. I called him. It was Chris Sabat, who was working on DBZ at the time. I went in and auditioned, and then he called me a couple weeks later to come in and audition for Trunks. I went in and auditioned for Trunks and got cast. And it's really that simple.
It is.
And that's basically what the whole video is about. It's about the fact, like, because a lot of people ask how to get into voice acting because they want to get into voice acting, but they want to get into voice acting without having any background of acting whatsoever. I have to tell everybody.
Yeah, I've been told that you have to. It helps to be an actor first.
Be an actor.
Be an actor. You know, you've got to be an actor. You've got to have a background at it. I mean, I've been acting since I was 12, like Colleen, and you know, I didn't just accidentally happen into it. I had an agent. You know, I was delivering pizzas to make ends meet. I was working plenty of other acting jobs, but I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, based on some good relationships that I had with this girl from college, and she remembered me because we were friends. And she wanted to give me a good opportunity. And we do that for people.
Yeah.
When we have good relationships with people, we remember people. I know Colleen, as a director, will probably sit back and go, hey, you know what, this person works with this character on this role. I'd like to see them in an audition, you know?
Yeah, there's the old saying that it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah, well, that's partly true. I mean, a lot of luck is involved in getting into this business, but also deciding that you want to be an anime voice actor without ever having done any acting or having no intention to do anything but anime voice acting is like saying that all you want to do in life is make soufflés. Like, you don't want to cook, you don't want to learn how to cook.
Right.
You have to do other things. Soufflé making is not going to make your living. You're either a chef or you're not.
Yeah, like you, and also making soufflés is hard.
You have to, it's very precise timing. Hey, it is very dub-like.
That's the best thing I've
multi-layered.
ever heard.
I'm like an onion, baby.
Strong odor and make it strong.
You're in timeout. An ogre? That would be fun. No, don't disturb me. You're answering these questions too.
Damn it. Okay.
Who has another question?
All right. Oh, wow, you have more.
You're in timeout. How about in the back? Oh, okay. We haven't asked any.
Okay, you wait.
Yes.
And you're next.
Okay, hang on.
Okay, yeah. And back.
Okay, Eric, why do you hate Canada?
I could answer it if I knew who you were talking about.
Italian?
Yes.
No, I could answer it if I knew who she was talking about.
That's why.
She's talking about American Pie.
Sorry. I don't watch American.
Well, then you're not gonna get the joke.
Yeah.
The joke is that Canada.
Canada.
You got the joke, right?
Yes, I'm Canada's biggest fan.
See, I know.
Why does America hate Canada? That's mean.
Who's Canada?
Shut your face.
Okay, so yes, you had a question.
Okay. You saw my friend's pic and it says Todd is gay. and right next to us they're playing Italian and all I can hear is Todd's voice trying to block out you. I think it's karma is what they're trying to say for writing Tom.
This
Todd's
is not
gay.
a question.
It's rather a statement. I'm sorry, but do you think it's karma? Do you think
Do I think it's karma?
There's a question.
Come out, find out. No, I'm not gonna do that.
He's at another convention.
He is, but it's hysterical. Anyway, so yeah, no, that's
Puerto Rico. He
yeah.
can't
He's
answer the phone.
oh yeah, he couldn't answer his phone anyway. He's out of
Country.
the country-ish. No, I love Todd. This is something I've said 1,000 times. I don't bother messing with people I don't like. You know, I mess with Todd all the time as my buddies. You know, and if you look online, you see us rib each other all the time. Yeah, and I do that with all my buddies. So that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure. Who else? Yes, I like this one.
Who does Chris Sabat play?
Chris Sabat plays everybody.
Yeah.
You Piccolo, Vegeta,
Yeah.
The dragon.
Mr. Pogo. Not anymore. Not Kai. Chris Kaysen plays Pogo and Kai now. Yeah.
So most of the
Lots of people.
most of the characters.
Back then, when it was originally cast, there were very few people doing this, and Chris was one of them, and so he was just everybody.
Yeah.
Actually, sadly, it did not. It would now.
It would now, but no, not then. So, is there a second
Do you
part?
have a follow-up?
Yes.
Which do you like better, Vegeta or Piccolo?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I'm personally a bigger fan of Vegeta.
I would pick Piccolo.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you like Piccolo?
Well, I mean, Gohan.
Fight. Then Trunks fight. Samurai fight.
So we're not going to fight. Okay, next. Let's go to the back again. In the back.
How do you feel to play the role of Trunks? How do you feel?
Say louder.
How do you feel to play the role of Trunks? To play the voice of Trunks. How do you feel? Did it inspire you?
It hurt sometimes in this area. It was good.
Do you have a more specific?
The character, I mean, he's a pretty cool, decent guy. Were you a decent guy? Did it feel like calm and collected when you were playing the voice?
Are you a decent guy as well, or are you
I'm a total jerk. But I see what you're getting at. What you're trying to ask is, how did it feel playing Trunks, and am I carrying any of the Trunks emotions around with me? Yeah, no. No, not at all. As an actor, I can't do that. I can't carry the emotions of my characters around with me, particularly not in anime or anime characters, because as a human being from Earth, I don't know what it actually feels like to need Dragon Balls or sensu beans. So there's some disconnect there, and there is a point at which you have to just play pretend.
Okay.
And just pretend, and just go right back to your kid roots of playing in the schoolyard. And that's actually part of the fun of voice acting in anime.
When you played house in the schoolyard, or when you played monsters fighting each other in the schoolyard, when you went back inside, you stopped. Because otherwise you were crazy. We would be crazy to still think that we were Trunks and Gohan.
Right.
Otherwise, you'll get more letters.
Real quick, when you were voice acting for Trunks, when he was being disrespected, when she was pissing him off, disrespecting him, did it ever tick you off as well?
See, again, not me.
Yeah.
No. I'm an actor, so we've got to get real clear with this disconnect between the character I'm playing and Eric as a person. Because what pisses me off is the fact that when I get home, my son hadn't done his homework, okay? Or he hadn't finished his chores.
Or he set the kitchen on fire.
Or he set the kitchen on fire last night. Actually, that was a total accident. So he took care of it. But and that really didn't piss me off. That was just, oh my God, I hope everything's okay. But no, there are real things that piss me off, like the guy who lives behind me, who never shuts his dogs up, and they're constantly barking, and it aggravates my dog to the point that she went out and attacked him the other day. Okay. So not so much Trunks. I'm an actor, and I leave my job at my job. And I think anybody, how many people in the room have jobs? Right? The smartest thing any of us can do with our jobs is have that line that you cross when you walk into your job and when you walk out of your job. You leave your work at your work so you don't take it home with you,
And by the same token, you leave home life at home. If people get into the booth and they're still carrying around with them whatever it is that's going on with their life, and at home they're having a fight with their girlfriend and they come in the booth and they're crying, and I've had this happen, I can't work with that. As a director, that pisses me off. This is the character now. Trunks is having no problems with his girlfriend. So, there really has to be a dividing line.
There does. Now, that being said, as actors, we're trained. And I mean this, and this goes back to the whole acting thing. We are trained over years to be able to utilize those personal experiences that we have and our actual lives and pull those emotions out and use it as what's called sense memory, so that we can access the emotions as real. So that when I have to perform Trunks as angry, then I can go back to a place in my past and say, where's a parallel in my past when I was angry? What did that feel like? Okay, there's that emotion. I can pull it out of my past and use it in this moment.
That's called method acting.
It's called method acting, I don't subscribe to it as a whole, but I use points of it, So, there you go. And not always in the booth either. It's kind of hard because of the way we act in the booth. Okay, who else?
Yes, in the second row, yes, right there.
How much input do the actors get when recording, like when you ad-lib the lines or make your stuff out?
It kind of depends on the show. There are times when you're doing a comedy like Shin Chan or Sergeant Frog or Penny and Stocking where it's really valuable to have something feel off the cuff and fresh and funny. Like whatever actually makes the actor laugh, whatever we find funny in the booth is always going to be funnier to the audience. So ad-libbing is encouraged in that situation. But then, you get into Seven Samurai and the more dramatic ninja, totally in Japan sort of Edo period kind of pieces, and the more you ad-lib as an actor, the further away you're going to get from that period dialogue that's already been put in place by the writer who worked really hard to make it sound like that. So if I'm doing Romeo x Juliet and Michael Tatum and Patrick Sides worked really hard to make that almost at times iambic pentameter, but they worked really hard to make it sound Shakespearean. If I ad-lib, I'm taking away from the dialogue that the writer created, that they put together so beautifully. So it just depends on this. Yeah.
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 Okay. Yes.
Okay, I don't want to ask how to become like voice actor. No, I don't want to do that.
Because you'll get put in timeout by Eric.
Yeah. And I've seen the video. But what are some suggestions if I wanted to do like directing or writing or
Man, those are two of the hardest things to get into when you're trying to get into anime. Honestly, it's easier to be a voice actor because there are general auditions where you can get on a list at Funimation, and we work through them every 6 months. We try to get through a big batch of people so that we're seeing fans who want to be in anime and who happen to live in the area. But directing, I don't know when the last time is we took on a new director, and it was somebody who had been working at Funimation as an actor for a long time. Everybody who's a director there was an engineer or was an actor or was a writer. And the writers all have to go through John Bergmeyer, and he only hires people now who have been in the industry and really understand. It's just, those are very, very specific skill sets that you develop over time working in the industry in some other capacity.
Well, and my advice to everybody is
thank you.
You know, people need to stop being so tied down to such a niche.
Yeah.
You know, anime's great, and we're thrilled that you guys love it so much, because without it, we would not be here.
Yeah.
So the respect.
It's made our careers.
Yeah, exactly. And the respect that we have for you is massive. It's unending. But you can't pigeonhole yourself.
Yeah. Well, I direct plays up in school.
Then great. Okay, great. So here's what
Excellent.
So here's what you need to do. Don't just, you know, and my advice for anyone who's an actor would be the same for anyone as a director. Keep directing plays. You know, and keep directing plays at your school. Are you in high school or college? College.
Did
So
you get
keep-
into films?
Yeah. You know, try directing some film in the film department. You know, keep directing as a whole. And as a director, make sure that you start writing some things that you can direct as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember plays. You ruined my class.
That's great.
Perfect.
It sounds like you're doing just what you need to be doing.
Yeah, just do that. Don't try to angle into a certain career. Do what you love, do what you're good at, and the world will tell you where you belong.
Completely.
We got into this business because it picked us.
I had no intention of being a voice actor. I didn't know what anime was, but once it falls in place. I heard something. Tia said something at a panel just yesterday that was hard work. What was it? The harder you work, or was it you?
It was my dad's phrase. The harder you work, the luckier you get.
Totally true. Totally true. The more you work at being in theater, being involved in whatever capacity you run into, and people are looking for other people to join them and collaborate in these artistic endeavors, the more you allow yourself to be open to anything like that comes your way, the more expansive your choices will be.
I want to give you an example. And I'm going to freak you out.
I'm excited.
You probably don't even know this happened.
I'm so ready.
Right? Check this out. So my son is, he's older than you probably think. He'll be 21 in 2 weeks. Okay? He's, what?
She said, God, you're old.
Sorry.
That's a compliment.
It's
First
a bad
part
kind of
sucked.
compliment. It's a bad kind of compliment.
Well, I'm used to it. He's wrapping up his second year of community college, finishing up 2 years in the same theater program that Colleen went through.
He's at FSU?
What?
FSU?
No. He's at Colleen County. Yeah, he did.
Oh, all right.
Well, I've told a lot of people that, so.
Laura Bailey.
Laura? For some reason, that's where you met.
Sorry.
What's your name?
At a play. We were in a play together.
At Colleen County.
But you can keep saying it if you want. I love being a part of your story.
My stories are fast. So, at any rate, where Laura Bailey went to college. Okay.
She's better than I am. That's a bigger thing.
No, it's not. She's not. She sucks. Tell her I said so.
Yeah.
She punches hard. At any rate, so he's wrapping up his second year there before he springboards off to the college that I went to. He's a theater major, and he wants to do musical theater. He's not so interested in doing like voiceover or anything, but he's open to doing anything. And what he does is hard work. He's done more plays in his 20 years than anyone I've ever known in their whole career. And I mean that. It's amazing what he's done. Well, at some point in the past, and I don't know when, he decided, and he doesn't have the same last name as me. First off, Eric Vale. Vale is a stage name. It's not my real last name. Okay? My son is also my adopted son from my wife's previous marriage. So his last name isn't even my same last name regardless.
From either of the names.
No, his last name is Angel. So, last year, 6 months ago or something, he just took it on his own shoulders to go ahead and throw his name on the audition list.
At Funimation?
At Funimation.
Really?
So an open call came up about a month ago? 3 weeks ago? And he walked into the building and auditioned.
Without telling them who he was?
Without telling anyone who he was.
I love that. What a good guy.
He didn't drop my name to anybody, and he went and auditioned for Chris Bevins.
That's cool.
He knows Chris Bevins. He's met Chris 1,000 times. Chris lives by my house. Chris comes over to my house for wine and dinner as recently as last week. But he doesn't see Quinn because Quinn hides in his room, or he's out with his friends, or because he's 20, you know? He hasn't seen Quinn in about 3 years, and right now Quinn doesn't look the same as he did 3 years ago. He's got long hair about down to here, and he's grown up, and he looks like a dude now. And he doesn't go by Quinn, because Quinn's his middle name. He's going by his first name, Daniel. Daniel Quinn.
Daniel Angel.
That's what's on the list. So he goes in, he auditions for Bevins, and only when he's leaving does Bevins chase him down and go, Quinn! And Quinn's like, yeah, hey, Chris. He's like, wow, okay. And he left. And Bevins called him in last week for a Wallace session and hired him to do some work. But he didn't hire him because he's my son. He hired him because he did a good audition.
That's really nice.
Brought him in to do some Walla work, and he came in, and Michael Tatum came through, a few other people came through, and Quinn met those people as well. Not one time did he say to any of them, I'm Eric Vale's son. Not one time. Because it's all about the work.
Yeah.
It's all about hard work and the merit you put into that. So that's what you do. Work your butt off. Do everything you can. Pardon the swears for a second, but another one of my dad's phrases is, you throw enough shit against the wall, something's gonna stick. Okay? And something will. So just keep slinging that shit against the wall.
And when you audition, tell people you're Eric Vale's son or daughter. Because if Quinn's not taking it.
That's true.
No, tell them you're Chuck's son or daughter, because chances are it's true.
That's true. That's probably
He
true.
has 6 kids.
He has 6. Yeah, that's
Chuck
right.
Huber has 6 kids.
That's true. No one would believe that it's me because I couldn't get a date 20 years ago to save my life.
Oh my god.
It's funnier than you think it is.
Does anybody else have a question?
Thank you.
All right. Buttman.
Is there anybody in Dragon Ball Z that you wish I could voice over?
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z character we don't voice that we wish we
y'all
could be.
wish I would somehow.
The one who talks the most, because that's the one that pays the most. So, Bulma? Except that Monica's so great. I want to be Goku.
I want to be Goku.
Goku talks a lot. Oh, Goku screams a lot. Well, I'll still be Goku. We can be Goku together.
You can be Goku.
We can just say all of our lines.
I want to be Vegeta.
Yeah? Like,
You're Goku, I'm Vegeta.
okay.
All right, we'd do that.
New DBZ. We're going to re-release it because there haven't been enough. I was just looking at your texts, and that was not on purpose. No, I'm done. Yes.
How has working on DBZ changed you as a person?
I'm sorry.
How has working on DBZ changed you as a person? Are you able to do more different voices because of it, or?
I think I had already kind of learned. One Piece changed me more than DBZ did because I had already learned how to do the boy voice through One Piece. So that did change. That opened up a whole other realm of acting for me, and I've gotten a lot through that with my career. But DBZ was kind of a continuation.
DBZ validated me. That's what it did. It didn't teach me that I could do more acting or more voices or anything like that. But it taught me that I was good enough to do this professionally.
Yeah.
And it gave me confidence to pursue this further and pursue other avenues further as well.
I think it did that for a lot of people who were there at the beginning. DBZ happened for me so late in the game, but in the beginning when it was him and Sabat and Sunny and Mike,
Yeah,
they gained a lot through their careers because of DBZ.
that's true. Yeah. Yeah, and all of those people we're all still firing on 6 or 8 cylinders. I don't know much about cars, but a lot of cylinders.
That's kind of incredible if you think about it. Like at the time, nothing was coming over from Japan anime-wise. It was Speed Racer. That was it, you know. And DBZ at one point was the most Googled thing in the world. DBZ was the most Googled phrase.
Yep.
Dragon Ball Z. So I mean, that it made that much of a sensation when it came over. It changed so many lives. It changed. Funimation was born from the DBZ womb. How far do we want to take that metaphor? Everything that I've been a part of at Funimation has come out of that. Pretty big deal.
Yes, yeah.
Was it as much fun doing Dragon Ball GT as it was doing Dragon Ball Z?
Nope. There wasn't much to do in Dragon Ball GT, you know. Also, I mean, yeah, you know, Trunks doesn't have much of a character. There's not much story. Everything's really convoluted, you know. It's just not a great anime, you know, and everyone knew it. And that didn't keep us from working our hardest to make sure that it was as good as possible. I was the head writer on that show, and I knew it was like, you know, somebody handed it to me. They're like, here you go, you know, do your best. I'm like, okay, you know, let's get the shoe polish out and, you know, do everything that we can, yeah, to make sure that it's as good as possible. But it was pretty clear from the get-go that we had our work cut out for us. We did our best, but it just, you know, there's only so much you could do with that show. I think everyone who's ever worked on GT would probably feel the same way. Yeah.
Casper, you think you got something?
Why Casper?
Decided earlier.
That's it.
Casper, Crabtree, and Evelyn.
Using him again.
Sit before you forget it.
Knowing.
Would you rather Philip?
I'd rather
Poyo?
Okay, Pokio, what's up?
Poyo, Philip,
Anyways,
Crabtree, and
before
Evelyn.
you kill my name.
Are you guys working on any English dub on the new movie that came out and possibly the new series that's being talked about on DBZ?
If it has.
I know it hasn't come out. It hasn't.
No. The idea that you gotta understand. A, we can't tell you.
So that means it is.
Okay.
Really, it doesn't.
No,
It's like the
it
answer
doesn't.
is
No, it doesn't put words in my mouth. What I mean is,
It's a hope.
we can't tell you. And your question was, are we working on something that's been talked about on the internet in a rumor mill? What series? What series? What's it called? Is it Dragon Ball AF?
Dragon Ball Z movie.
No, he said the movie and
possible make of a new series.
A new DBZ series?
Yeah.
If they haven't made it,
No.
we can't.
I know, but I'm asking. Will you guys?
If they did do it and they asked us to do it, I would totally do it.
yeah, we'll do anything that somebody brings to us.
Yeah.
You know, but we have to. Well,
They have to
first
make
off,
it first.
yeah, it has to exist first.
That's rule one.
Rule one. So, where what's this show called?
Well, wait, the movie. I know the movie you're talking about that is going to be released in Japan, and I. Did it? Yeah. Release? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you guys done the
It won't reach here until
We
maybe
don't
like
know
another
anything
year.
about it.
It's like edition cost. Yeah.
We don't. Honestly, we don't know anything about it. Do you know why? Because how many hours a week are we working? You know, we show up to the booth and we're just like work. And we go home. And what we don't do at the end of the day is that kind of research.
Yeah,
To go home and see what's coming out, and what's gonna happen, and to be honest, care if that show or that movie is coming at us. If it shows up for real, if it actually comes in front of us at the studio
We'll
and
be
somebody
delighted.
says, yeah, exactly, we'll go, yay, kick ass, this rules, we can't wait to work on it. But until that moment, we got way too much to do to bother, chasing down rumors, So, I mean, God, the backlog's ridiculous on so many other things. With whatever we're working on at the studio and plenty of other things that we work on. So, and we couldn't tell you about it anyway.
Yeah, if you guys go online, if you go onto the Funimation.com, and they have announcements of what's coming up. If they have announced it online, then we can talk about it. If they haven't, and by announced it, I mean they have to have announced characters, like they have to announce cast. Then we can talk about it. Until that point, we're under contract not to confirm or deny anything.
I'm not even sure I'm allowed to talk about One Piece.
We're good.
We're okay?
Yeah, we're
All right, good. I'm in One Piece.
Don't talk about anything that's happening in A right now.
I honestly don't even know.
Okay, great. Yeah. Puppies. Right. So, does anybody else have a question?
I'm really not smart.
I see a hand over there, yes. Yeah.
Since you're talking about that YouTube God amazing, I'm just wondering, why does it take so long for anime to continue?
That's a good question, actually. Why does it take so long for an anime cut to come over from Japan? It can be because nobody picked it up for a while. In that case, like it's some. I'm trying to think of like Kenichi. I think didn't get picked up for a little while after it had already been out. But for the most part, it's because there have to be so many contracts signed. Somebody has to go over to Japan, acquire it through the production company, sign contracts, decide, well, we're going to need the music and sound effects. Here's what we need from you in order to get this done. Here's what we need from you in terms of licensing agreements. All of that stuff has to be signed. And then once that's done, we have to, what the heck is that? We have to then cast it, get it written. We have to do all of the performing in it, and then they'll decide when it can be announced, when the cast can be announced. And that push usually happens like, 6 to 8 weeks before it's released. I mean, 6 to 8 months before it's released.
All right, who else? Question. Yes.
How is writing an anime different than writing a regular show?
They very different.
real different. Like, well, I can tell you, I wrote and produced a movie recently that's coming out this fall, and getting ready to work on another movie or two.
Live action movie.
Yeah, live action movie, right? And it's called Chariot. Go to chariotmovie.com, check it out, please. I can, with the movie, I wrote it. It's mine. It literally came from my head. So I can sit down and I create all the characters, I create the setting, I create the drama. The whole plot is mine, right out of my head. Anime exists already. That's a whole show that was created, animated, voiced, popped out in Japan. Written, and then it comes to us. So at that point, it's our job to adapt it. You know, we call it writing because we're physically writing it, but we are in the job of adapting it for this audience. So there's that. There's 1,000 things that we have to do. There's a lot of technical work involved. There's a lot of time coding. There's a lot of tedious details that we have to do. But for the most part, it's the lion's share of the work really is making sure that the dialogue translated from Japanese into English sounds like natural spoken English.
And fits into the mouth flaps,
right.
Mouth movements.
So that's
It's a very different animal, very, very different. Far
Yeah.
less creative and more technical.
Yeah, it is. It's the difference between. Hi, Casper. It's the difference between. Let's talk about cooking again. Because that was really good. It's the difference between. I got it. It's the difference between baking and cooking. You know, you can take a whole bunch of vegetables and throw them in a pan and saute them up and eat it, and you're fine. Doesn't matter if you cook it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever temperature, use oil, use butter, who cares, how much salt, different spices. It doesn't matter how much crap you put in or don't put in, it's probably gonna taste okay. Put it with rice, put it with potatoes, pasta, who cares? If you're baking, that is precise.
There needs to be flour.
It has to have 3/4 cup of flour, half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of this, you know, this much vanilla. It has to bake for this long. It's very specific. And so that's anime.
So, do you bake?
Yeah, I do a lot of cooking though. Baking and cooking.
What's your favorite thing to bake?
Pies. I like pies though. I make pies with lattice work tops.
Wow, you're intense.
Whoa.
Do you crinkle the corners?
Yeah. I make
pies.
I'm good, man.
Pies.
I'm real good at this.
I make the brownies that come in the box.
Really good.
Yeah.
Little Debbie.
I will eat those. I will eat the crap out of those.
The last one I made was a blueberry pie. It was fresh blueberries.
How come you don't bring stuff up to the studio? If I cast Tia, I get cupcakes.
Okay, right. What do you want? Pie? Blueberry pie? You don't even care what. All right, fine. I'll bring it up there. All right. Well, we'll take. We got 2 minutes, so 2 more questions from people who haven't asked questions yet. So, hands up from people who haven't asked questions yet.
Right there.
Sell.
One of the people who actually asked about, how long and why Japanese films and cartoons take so long coming through here, I think the FCC has a lot to do with it, right? Because they're snipping out footage of cursing, dirty old man, visual gags, nudity, stuff like that. Does that put a lot of loopholes?
Intergovernmental thing.
Yeah,
so
I know, but does that
has
kind
to
of
do
put a
with
lot
whether
of
that has to do with whether
Hi.
That has to do with whether it goes on TV or not, but not whether it comes over from Japan.
Well, I'm just wondering, does that kind of like slow you guys down any? Because you know you have to kind of like plan around it. Okay, they took this out, so we gotta say this
Seriously,
differently.
the only difference it makes is whether or not on DBZ, that when it goes on TV, whether they can say jerk or tell their mother to shut up or not. The difference that you see between the DBZ Kai DVDs and the DBZ Kai on TV, that's all the FCC has to do with it. That's it.
I just wonder if that kind of like slowed you guys down.
No.
Who else? One more.
I'm not making you pick.
You have an asked.
Do you ever regret things in your career? Do you ever regret? Do you have anything to regret?
Do we have any regrets?
Have any regrets?
I know, I just want your regrets.
Regrets?
Do you ever regret that?
I have a regret saying regret.
I have one regret.
Hating Canada?
Yeah. No. No.
You go.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. My one regret is that when I got cast as Trunks, I was on a 1 semester suspension from college for failing Spanish in 2 consecutive semesters. Right, which you can't do.
Got me courses.
That's all I had to do was finish 2 semesters of Spanish to graduate. Instead of finishing that Spanish and graduating, I decided to chase down my career. And I really wish I would have stuck with it and finished college.
So you could go back and just do a Spanish course and you'd be done?
It would take 2 years of me commuting up to Denton.
Can't you transfer credit? Can't you like do it online and
Nope.
transfer credit?
No,
Oh,
I can't. I'm stuck. I know.
sorry, but you obviously have a career without.
I have a career, but I don't have that safety net of
Yeah.
my college degree, which is important to have.
Right.
You know, especially when I've got a son who's going to college.
Yeah. It makes teaching possible.
Yeah, so, what's yours?
I have a series, and I will not name the series. You can guess. That I've always drawn a line for myself between anime that I'm okay with and anime that it is just a little bit too far for me, and that line is somewhere around when little girl bodies are sexualized. If a girl looks 8, or boy, if a kid looks 8 and they're being sexualized, I'm not all right with it. And I was a part of a series that did that to a degree that when I initially started the project, I thought was not that bad. I thought it was before my line. And later on, I realized I felt uncomfortable about it, and I wish I hadn't been a part of it.
Yeah. And that's part of the problem with the work that we do, is that you don't know that.
No, there's no defining line. There's no like this. We know this.
No, you don't know a lot about a show until you, like, I have had that sort of problem recently as well.
Really?
Uh-huh.
We have the same problem.
I did not know about this certain aspect of a show until I was halfway through it, and then they showed something to me, and I was like, what? Okay. And by that point, it's too late to back out, because
you would screw so many people.
Yeah, you screw so many people. I'm actually under contract, and that would be breaking contract. It would be a violation of contract, and you know, it's not in my best interest or my family's best interest to break a contract, which would, you know, screw over Funimation, which I don't want to do in the first place. You know, you don't want to hose a company that's been so good to you.
Just know that we do, and on that note, just know that we do not promote that behavior.
Right. So that's it. Thank you guys.
Thanks,
we have, or I have another panel at 8. Okay.